Amit Singhi. Thanks for coming today. We have quite a few people here in the room, still some joining us, but we also have, I think, probably 30 or so people on the audio and WebEx. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And I just wanted to thank Dr. Padmaja for taking this time out for a busy schedule to be with us today. I think you will find her talk very helpful and entertaining, as well as useful to take back some skills to improve. With that, I'll turn it over to Sri Ganapati, who's going to introduce her, and then she will have a brief talk as well as some Q's and A's at the end. And people on the audio, there is, as I mentioned, there is not only the audio, but there is also a WebEx going. So if you have any questions, you can interrupt and ask the WebEx address. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sri.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sri Ganapati, for those who don't know me. Welcome to the first FAIA Ford Asian Indian Association People Development Seminar for 2012. As Amit was mentioning, we have Dr. Padmaja Nandigama, who is a faculty member at Schoolcraft College in Livonia. She's also a motivational speaker and life coach. Just a couple of words on her. She'd be talking about boosting your self-esteem, empowering yourself, and much more today. So I don't want to take a whole lot of time about talking about her, and I'll hand over the podium to her. Let's give her a big round of applause.
I got a good introduction from Mr. Singhi and Mr. Ganapati, so I'm not going to reintroduce myself. Thanks for coming here. It's an awesome day. So the weather is conspiring with me. It put you in good mood, so my task is half done. Okay? So I hope to talk to you today about many topics, but because of the time constraint, I'm going to focus on developing effective communication skills and professional presence. I want to talk about professional presence and professional efficacy because obviously we are in a global company here, Ford. So I just wanted to touch base on that. And also, of course, I'm going to talk about professional stress because I like stress. I want to talk about stress because we are all stressed. Stress is everywhere. So we're going to talk about a little bit of stress management. And without much waiting, I just want to jump into my first topic, which is communication skills. I found a good quote there. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. How true is that, right? So, and then,
can we talk in between, or you want to move forward?
I want to move forward, and then we can save our questions
Sure.
to the end so that I'm not stressed out. Okay, this is why we are here. I signed you up for a class to try and get rid of that thing you have. What thing? The thing the thing that makes you the way you are? Well, my personality? No, exactly, but we call it communication skills because it sounds less rude, right? So, that's a joke. So now, communication. If I ask you, are you communicating? Of course you're communicating. I'm communicating via my Facebook, I'm communicating via my phone, I'm communicating via my email. Yeah, but then are you communicating one-on-one? Truly, I don't think most of us are doing that. You know why? You go to a party, you talk to somebody, he's busily texting. You're there, he's there right in front of you. But he's texting somebody who is away, right? Or he's updating his Facebook page. But then you're not communicating with the person. You become so savvy, tech savvy, but we don't want to talk to the person. We don't want to make an eye-to-eye contact. Okay? So that's what I'm stressing about. I'm stressing about how much of an eye-to-eye contact you're making. Please be there. We are not being there these days. People ask me, what is communication? I communicate, I speak. Yeah, sorry to say that. Communication is a two-way street. Because communication involves not only talking, but listening. Truly, we do only 25% of our listening capacity. Okay? So communication involves a receiver and a sender. I'm a receiver sometimes, and right now my position is a sender, and you're the receiver. Unfortunately, you have to receive for a good 40 minutes. between both of us. Only then there is a communication. If I continuously talk and don't allow you to speak back, then there's no communication. It's like a one-way street, right? So a communication is a successful communication when there is a sender and a receiver and there is a feedback between them. Please give a feedback. We have teenagers at home. You ask them, whatever. I don't need whatever. I need a feedback. I need some feedback. Negative is also fine. Because constructive criticism helps us to grow. Right? So we need that feedback. And also, when we communicate, we want to keep our message clear, concise, to the point. Many of us, including me, I will talk endlessly on a topic. There's no period in between, right? So we need to be clear and concise because our attention span to receive is only this much. We blame our kids, but then our attention span is also very small. And then, coming to the listening part of it, you can do listening, 3 types of listening. Active listening, where I'm making an eye contact, my attention is on you, I'm focusing on you, and then I'm asking questions to showing interest in what's happening between you and me when there is communication. And then the other one is empathetic. Anybody know what empathy is? Showing the feeling.
Putting in somebody's shoes.
Yeah, so you need to have that empathy. Otherwise there's no point of communication. And then critical, as I said, we need the criticism, but mind you, constructive criticism. There's a way to put in the criticism. If you say, oh, you stink, we don't need that type of criticism. You need to communicate in such a way by saying that there is room for improvement. And also, when you suggest to them some improvement, please suggest how to improve. Saying you need to improve, yeah, go figure. That's not going to help. Right? I need an A from you, we tell the kids. But we need to tell them what are the ways to improve. You can improve this fashion, you can try this steps. So we need to suggest people how to improve. Okay, language and culture barriers. As I was saying, we live in a globally diverse community. We work in a globally diverse atmosphere. And a lot of people coming from different countries, different languages, different cultural influences. India is one big pot where we have a lot of cultural influences because we have so many east, west, north, south. I myself don't know many cultural beliefs and feelings of people from other parts of India. Right? So we need to make an effort to understand the language and cultural barriers. So we need to communicate. When you're communicating with a non-native speaker, English speaker, you need to understand his limitations. Say for example, you're a supervisor and your subordinate comes from a different country. You need to understand his limitations that he may not have the vast English vocabulary which you might be having, or his accent, diction. Don't make fun of him in front of other employees, right? So we need to keep that also into consideration. And many people have got this attitude to say, when somebody is talking, they say, what? What? You need to say, excuse me, can you please repeat yourselves? Don't want me. People have done that to me. I'm not making this up. Just as much as you have an accent, I have an accent too. Realize that. And if you have a problem, please request. Can you please clarify yourselves? Or am I clear enough for you? Okay, we need to have that understanding. Values, expressions, and beliefs influence the way we interpret verbal and non-verbal messages. I am communicating to you in many ways. I'm speaking here, but non-verbally, I'm communicating. Unconsciously, I'm using my hands. I'm pacing the ground here. So if you can read that too, right? My hands might be sweating. So these are the non-verbal messages, my facial expressions. Like when I'm panning the crowd here, I'm seeing different expressions. I'm reading them. I need reinforcement, so I'm going to look at faces who are smiling and nodding at me. Because that gives a sensation that, yeah, I am communicating. Then I increase my pace, I increase my voice, I go, right? If I don't have an enthusiastic crowd, I sort of become timid and nervous. Same with you people too. When you're talking at work, when you're behaving at work, in your work scenario, right? You look for this non-verbal cues all the time. So we should be careful in what we project. Just as much as I'm looking at your non-verbal cues, we have to be careful what we project and what we receive. And when I say non-verbal and verbal cues, you have to keep the cultural aspect in place. Like say for example, different countries have different norms. Norms are like, where they follow these rules, right? Cultural rules, which is like, say for example, if I come from India, even however highly qualified I am, I'm not going to extend my hand and shake my hand because I can do without shaking my hand. Hello, right? And then like in Middle East men, hugging is very common. You greet by hugging and giving a kiss. Yeah, well, don't do that in Western societies, right? It's not acceptable on a formal basis. So we need to keep those norms in understanding. Why do we need that? These days, again, coming back to the global diversity, you might go to China to work, right? You might go to Japan to work. You might go to Middle East to work. You need to understand this. Oh, I don't care, I'm going to go there and eat my thing and do my stuff. No, please. You will do your job, but how well you do your job is what we are observing. Okay? Emotions. People often fail to hear or understand messages when their thoughts are clouded by emotions. We always go on defensive. What did you say? Right? We don't listen to the message. We get clouded by the emotion. We get sucked into the minute your husband says, did you run an errand? What do you mean? You mean I'm lazy? You're accusing me?
Now departing.
I take the kids here, I do this job, blah, blah, blah. He just said, did you forget to get my approach from rightly? We got sucked into that emotion thing, my defensive attack. Same here, even at work. Like your supervisor is asking you a question, don't get sucked into your emotions. Direct your attention only to the question. It's nothing personal. Right? So keep that in mind. Emotions, we have to keep our emotions in check when we are reacting to people's questions. Attitudes, negative or positive attitude about another's voice, accent, topic, delivery, gestures, or dress create resistance to bias or message. Many of you got the email. Dr. Padmaja Nandigama is going to come and talk. Oh, she's from India.
Now departing.
What is she going to tell? Anything better than I don't know? I know everything about India. Is she going to say anything different? We assume. That's human nature. Right? We assume, we give importance to work, we give importance to people's class, we give importance to money, we give importance to color, we give importance to gender, like it or not, happening. Right? We have to check that. It's okay to understand that there is classification, but don't get prejudiced in your judgments, in the way you act. As soon as I come into the room, what generally we do is we categorize people and put them into bins. Right? We put them into bins according to the color, we put them into bins according to the shape. Shape too, I forgot. There is a bias about shape. Okay? About gender, about class, what dress you're wearing, how well you're dressed. So we classify people. It's okay to classify, as I said, but then keep it in perspective. Okay? And then attitude. Attitude is one thing which is influenced by many things around us. The way we dress, the way we feel, the weather, of course. But then, positive attitude will take you a long way. If you have that positive attitude, I can do it, I will do it, it's half battle done. Right? So you need to keep that positive attitude because optimism not only helps you be successful in your work, but also is good for your heart. We'll see that, how good it is. Non-verbal messages, I communicated this information a little bit in the slide ahead, but what it says is messages communicated without words through posture, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, personal space, and voice tone. Personal space. How close is close? Don't go too close. Right? Again, in India, we stand very close and talk. It's very normal. Here, people will immediately move. Maybe it's because of the food smell that's coming out of your mouth. Right? But there is a customary thing that you cannot go too close to a person. You have to maintain some distance. I read it's 18 inches. That's too little for me, 18 inches, right? And then for every occasion, there is certain amount of distance which you have to maintain. For business meetings, it has to be certain level. If I come too close and talk, he's going to like bounce off the chair, right? So we need to maintain that distance. Don't go too close to people. Like don't try to embrace the first, second person you see. Keep the distance. Okay? So we need to understand these non-verbal messages. It seems, all these I know, but how many of us are really following those? How many of us are taking care of these things? Seriously, I'm going to take a quiz at the end. No, I'm just kidding. Role expectations. People may be more or less receptive to a message based on the speaker's role. Again, classification, assumptions. The old Chuck, he got he got a promotion. He just moved up to the vice president, but he's just the old Chuck. No, he's the vice president now. So you need to give respect to the position, right? So we need to keep that, Mr. Doctor. You need to keep that check. He might be your pal at home, but then in the office, you need to give importance to the designation. Gender-specific focus. Gender roles learned throughout childhood condition men and women to communicate differently. Women, we can talk endlessly on any topic. A man, yes, that. They're very concise. They're following the rule there. They're concise and precise. You told us to be concise, right? Yeah, but then we have to understand that. Genetically and neuroanatomically, this is doing us to talk more, right? So it's because we are made like that. So you have to keep your jokes in check. Oh, she's a women speaker? Okay, mark 2 hours instead of an hour, right? So we make those gender-specific assumptions too. So we need to keep them in check. Okay, so the bottom line in steps to improve your communication skills are: 1, be concise and precise to what you want to say, be clear, develop effective listening skills. You need to be there. My kids ask me, Mom, are you listening to me? Repeat what I just told you. So it's just not being there and looking in their eyes. Repeat what I told you, right? So develop effective listening skills, encourage information flow both horizontally and vertically. Many supervisors or many people at workplace have this attitude of controlling the information flow. I'm going to release only so much information only at this point of time. Be very careful in that. You have to have effective communication. To have an effective, team, you need to allow that flow. Don't hold on to this information. Let it flow. Please share generously, because it's very important. And give timely feedback. When you go to an interview or when you go to a meeting, please repeat this. When you go to a meeting or an interview, please respond back. Thank you. It was very nice of you to give me some time. Right? So I had a great time. It was very good to meet and brainstorm. You have to do that within a day, not a week, because you have to do timely feedback. Feedback is good, but we need it in time. So I have to remind myself to thank Mr. Singhi and Mr. Ganapati as soon as I go home. Okay, so now moving to professional presence. Professional presence. Why do we need it? Actually, I'm wearing a nice jacket today. Why do I need that? The weather is nice, but today I'm speaking at Ford, one of the top companies in Detroit, so I need to have a presence.
In the world.
Yeah, in the world. Yeah, thank you. See? Yeah. So I need to have a presence, because with the attire, you command respect. And there's a selfish need too. I have this confidence. I'm feeling very good because I'm wearing a nice dress. I don't need reinforcement from outside. I'm getting it from within. The motivation. Right? So that confidence will come when you dress very well, when you have a clean, crisp attire on you. It puts you above the crowd. Again, we notice people. That lady right there, she was wearing that colorful dress at the party. She might have been like sitting in a corner, but then you noticed her because of her attire. attention to your professional presence. You're paid, for that. So that is very important. It empowers us. It's all about empowerment, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever we do is for empowerment. Okay. This is can you see the screen clearly? Or do you want the lights off? Okay, yeah. It might put you to sleep if I put the lights off.
The video.
In my, funny, in school craft college, all my kids, every lecture they say, put the lights off, Dr. Nandigama. You know why? They want to sleep. So, but I'm watching you, you can't sleep here. Okay, so the main factors that influence your image there are quite a few of them here. But then I'm going to draw your attention to a few of them. Voice quality. I've got a tendency to speak loudly because of my cultural background. If I use my voice, the vendor on the street have to come to my house. That's my background, right? If I use my voice, not only my kid next door has to get disciplined. That's my cultural background. But then, I'm living in a different cultural environment. I can't use the same rules here, right? I need to tone down my voice. And modulation, tone quality, volume. My students tell me, like, Dr. Nandigama, why are you yelling at me? It's like, this is nowhere near yelling here. If I really yell at you, you will run away from me. Right? So, it's because it's a cultural change. So we have to live to those expectations. So modulate your voice. Handshake. Sweaty, we don't forget those hands, but sweaty, limpy hands, we don't need that. We need strong, confident handshake to show that, yes, I'm glad I'm shaking your hand, right? So, surface language is what you wear, how well you wear. Don't wear crumpled clothes to work, please. Right? How well you present yourselves. First appearances are the best appearances. That's called a primacy effect. In psychology, they call it as a primacy effect. Primacy is top. So when I see you, I'm doing the organization. He's wearing this, he's doing this, he's talking like this. So, they last for long. You might want to try to change it later on. No. So today is a very important day because I'm giving my first talk here. The impression I make today will depend on whether you call me back next time or not. Seriously. People assess all the time. We are assessing people. Right? So you need to have this primacy effect. You need to put an effort to have a good impression. First impression. Entrance and carriage. You don't walk like this. That's supposed to be a teenager walk. Walk nice, strong, confident stride. You have to project confidence in your walk. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about how you look. You can demand respect by the way you walk, you make an entrance into the room. I'm not saying you need music and all like when you enter, but then just that walk. Facial expressions. I cannot stress enough. Facial expressions, Seriously, people make those expressions. Unknowingly we do that. We do that unknowingly. Like say for example, you go for lunch buffet.
Now departing.
Like, you're like cringing at the food that is there, you're making like, closing your nose and, all sorts of things. So be very careful because people are observing you. With the facial expression which you make, your kid is not going to touch that food. Because mom made such a face, maybe it's like, so bad, I better not go there. Children learn, from modeling.
Now departing.
So your facial expressions are very close to your children's facial expression. Okay? So you have to be very careful in that, what you create. Then I want to focus on positive attitude. Yeah, there are versatility, self-confidence, there are self-explanatory, but positive attitude. My website is Positive Living, so I'm all to that positive attitude. Every day is not Monday. Okay? So you need to have that attitude. Have optimism, have hopeful thinking, right? That will help you go a long way. It's good for your heart, it's good for your body, good for your mind. Manners. That's one point I want to focus on. Manners. For that point, there are a couple of things which I would like to Dining etiquette, table manners and ordering food. Don't just put everything on your plate. You'll have second chances. Be careful in what you eat and what you order. Don't order like, once I had this, like, newly I came to America, I went to, my graduate advisor took me to lunch. We went right there in Wayne State, downtown. So I ordered lettuce. It was tough for me to eat lettuce and those tomatoes in that, like you put that and give you a fork. How am I supposed to eat a full tomato with a fork? I gave up. I don't want to embarrass myself. I spilled a couple of times and then, thank you. Right? So you have to be careful on what you order. And there's a rule too, like you go to China, you can't put chopsticks right into the rice like that. Learn the table manners, learn the etiquette. There's a way to do that.
Correct.
So if you're not sure about it, don't even attempt.
Now departing.
Okay? And then meeting etiquette. Be positive, start on and end on time, stay on the topic, summarize. Now when you meet somebody, stay on the topic. Don't just talk about your expeditions to Paris or your shopping trips or whatever. You're great, all that. That's why we call you here. But then you have to stay on the topic, stay on time. Time is very essential. Everybody, we are mechanically timed. After this 1 hour, you got another meeting, and then like pick up kids at 4. We're doing like clockwork. Respect other people's time. Please arrive on time and please leave on time. Summarize. Because halfway through people are sleeping, so just summarize at the end. Yeah. Cell phone etiquette. Yeah, usage. We all have cell phones. We don't talk face to face. I'll call you back. Right? So, when you're talking to somebody, please put your cell phones away. And then that Facebook and email thing on the cell phone has only done bad to us. Nothing good. Okay, all that can wait.
Now
Okay?
departing.
So when you leave a message, you call and you don't leave a message. I'm going to give her a missed call. If she's interested, she'll call me back. I'm like, if you're interested, you should have left a message. Right? So communication gap. Then I'm never going to connect. So when you call somebody, when it is important for you, please leave a message. Okay, that's one cell phone etiquette rule which you have to follow. Conversational etiquette, speed. I've reduced my speed a lot in my delivery of speech because I learned that if I speak fast, so I can cover a lot of ground, but I'm not making sense. So you have to reduce the speed. Slow and steady, not too slow. Okay? Yeah, foul language. Please don't use foul language. We all know. I have a dictionary on foul language, but I don't need to learn anything new. Because it gives you, or it radiates, bad feeling when somebody uses foul language. And remember, it reflects bad on your resume, it reflects bad on your personality because kids are watching. Tomorrow they will go and tell in school. I learned from my mom. How do I know that? My students tell me. Your kids share all the secrets from home to their teachers. So please don't use bad language, with kids. Please don't use bad language with your colleagues. Okay, he's perfect. He's got degrees. He's got presentation skills. He dresses up very well. You know what? But I'm not going to promote him. You know why? He uses foul language. I'm scared he'll go and give a bad representation of us outside. So that could be your big negative point. Network etiquette, again, introduction, follow-up. When you write an email to somebody, please introduce yourselves. Don't just say, hello, I'm going to come and meet you there. Who are you? Why are you coming? What is this whole talk about? Right? And follow up. And also, when you send an email, please make sure you put a subject. Just don't, there is a subject column right there. The subject of the email has to be addressed because, it might go, you may not get attention to it if you don't put a subject matter, right? So that's one thing which you, okay, again, if you want the bottom line for your professional presence is, if you want the part, look the part. If you want the promotion, look promotable. Okay? It is all in your hands. That you could do. right? So now I would like to come to my favorite topic. This is my favorite topic. There are only 2 times I feel stress, day and night. Right? Stress, 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 stress. Stress is everywhere. How many of you are stressed right now? Seriously? I need some hands. Otherwise I'll be stressed.
Okay, here.
Good. You know what? We need certain amount of stress to be productive. Okay? Remember, just before the exams, you want to read so much, you are focused. That's because you're stressed. But then, be careful that that stress should not go out of control. If it goes out of control, then it's going to be affecting a lot of your physiological functions. Okay? But you need that little amount of stress so that you function optimally. If you don't stress, that means you don't care enough. If you don't care enough, you won't put an effort. Okay? So we need that stress. We need that stress to make us productive and be functional. Stress on the heart, this is serious. This is serious stuff. You might be looking thin, you might be looking fit, but your arteries could be clogged. Seriously. Everybody please go for your physical within next month, get your hearts checked. Right? It's because we have genetic influences which makes our hearts clogged sometimes, the food we eat. But these days, stress is adding to that. Stress makes our heart function very, very restrictive sometimes. So you need to pay attention to this stress which is around. How do we do that? We need to address this stress issue because stress not only affects your heart, it affects your immune level. Immune level is like, how many of you get frequent colds? Good. If you get frequent colds, that means you're stressed. You need to wash your hands, but also have less stress around yourself. Stress can have a variety of health-related consequences because it releases stress hormones. It can block your heart. It can reduce your immune suppression, and also it can increase your headaches and hypertension. How many of you have migraines? Seriously? Yeah. Because you have this. The weather one. The next one is it constricts your blood vessels. The stress, you stress your shoulder muscles so much that it gives you a headache. Okay? So the reasons for that could be your husband, your wife. Yes? Yeah, everybody's smiling. Yes. Yeah, talk about them. I like it. Yeah. Your boss, right?
Audio is what?
Audio is what?
I don't know.
You don't need audio.
No, maybe people and the.
I think it should be.
So, all these things stress us. Weather stresses us, If it's like, it's 20 degrees hotter than normal, what am I going to do in summer? Right? They're not enjoying this weather right now. They're worried about in summer it's going to be 100 degrees. Seriously, I heard these discussions. Right? And then they're not worried about...
Okay, now.
You can ask them.
Hello, is the sound working, please? For WebEx
Hello.
people?
Can the folks in the audio hear us loud and clear?
Now departing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, we don't.
No?
No.
Okay, maybe you want to use the...
Hello? Yeah. Is this better?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So, we stopped at the right place, talking about the husband and wives. So when we are dealing with the problems of stress, there are 2 ways to deal with it. One, you remove the problem. Yeah, seriously, we can't remove the husband and wife, so how do I do that? Right? So then, if we can't remove the problem, we have to cope with the problem. Right? So we have to change our behavior to cope with that. So we have to do this type of thing, emotion-focused coping. So because we can't remove the problem, we have to deal with our emotions. When I get angry, what do? Go for a run, go for a walk, right? So we have to deal, you can't change this situation. Remember, we can't change ourselves to fit other people. It's the same thing there. They can change themselves to fit our needs. We have to find a mutual understanding. You have to find a mutual space. in some situations, like somebody is sick in the house, and it's like a terminal disease, you can't remove the disease. So how do we deal with that? We deal with these health issues by getting together as a family, focusing on our inner strengths, right? Finding some help outside, understanding that it happens to everybody. That's how we have to deal with the problem. And in some other situations, problem-focused coping can be done where we can change our attitude by changing the problem itself. Okay, so there are two ways. One, either remove the problem, or if you can't remove the problem, change your emotion towards the problem. When I mean changing, I like this emotion-based coping because there you are trying to work on yourselves. You're going to win in the end because you're going to change your attitude and behavior. With that attitude and positive behavior, you will not only fit into many situations, just not the one situation. Okay? So learn to deal with these anger issues, lack of control issues by changing yourselves. So the reasons for stress, as I said, could be the family, schedules, children, spouse, work, finances, health. We have tightly packed schedules. We pack it to the brim. Activity to activity to activity to activity. Ask me, I'll tell you. Right? So we need to be very careful in our time management skills. Put it on a calendar. Oh, I don't need calendar, I'm just in 40s. Why do I need a calendar? I have my brain. That'll give away one day. We need to put it on the calendar. We need to allot a time. We don't have time to spend with each other these days as a family. Seriously, that also has to be allotted. Please put it on a calendar. Going out tonight with the husband. Okay, so we need to plan it out. Otherwise things get pushed away. So how do we manage stress? One way is bang your head there. So that's a joke. So I hope you got it. So, to improve stress relationship, you have to work on communication, which we pointed out, active, effective and empathetic listening, plan schedules ahead of time, downtime, take a break. We all need a vacation now and then. The research shows that when we are planning for the vacation, when we are browsing the net and going through these locations and looking at it, we get the same amount of dopamine release in the brain. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter which makes us all happy. Right? So you actually don't need to go on the vacation. Yeah. Don't quote me to your wives. So seriously, we can just go see all these sites and look everything and don't click on buy tickets, just come back. Still get the same feeling. Okay? So that's how our brain works. That's how we daydream. That's why we are imaginative, right? We are like in the la la land. Because it gives the same amount of dopamine release. So take a break is one thing we need to do. Please put it on your calendars. Explanatory style, self-explanatory style. It depends on how optimistic you are. Positive outlook. If you are positive about things, the universe will conspire and positive things will happen. Okay? So, it tends to be more control over stressors, cope better moods and stronger immune system. So if you have negative moods, you emanate this negativeness. Many of us have these negative people around us. They're always whining about something or the other in their life. You talk to them for 10 minutes, you will start whining. Right? They will complain about traffic, they will complain about the organization, they will complain about the food at the cafeteria, they will complain about, you name it, they will complain about it. So stay away from those people, we don't need them. Okay? We need this positive outlook, we need the positive attitude. That's the mantra. Always positive. Lifestyle modification, exercise, eat well, eat right. When I say eat right, you don't have to go and buy organic tomatoes and organic milk. You can buy organic milk, but not organic tomatoes and organic bed sheets. I'm not pushing you into that end. Make sensible eating, healthy living lifestyle with a little bit of exercise, whatever you could do. Right? So that will help you give up smoking, drinking, if you're doing. That will help you have a healthy lifestyle, which will help you reduce the stress in your life. Biofeedback also has shown to decrease tension and anxiety in people. Spirituality and faith community. Not many people like, spirituality, going towards spiritual and faith communities, but they do help us feeling good. Why? Because as a human being, we have certain needs. Maslow says that there is one physiological need, which is for eating, drinking. The other one is safety need, like, you want to be in a comfortable living place. And the next big thing is belongingness. We want to belong to a group, right? I want to belong to a group of friends. I want to belong to a country. I have this pride, right? So I would like to go and belong to a faith community. So that belongingness is one need which helps us grow as an individual, right? So we need that. We need this focus. Why do we go to these temples, mosques, and churches? You could do that at home. I read somewhere that when we go to these group congregations, what happens is the energy that is generated there. The energy that is generated there gives you a good feeling, which makes you feel that God is right there. That's because of that group energy which we generate, that positive energy, that faith. Oh, you're scared, right? Like, God is literally on the walls, yeah. But that's the truth. That's why people go. So when you go to these social support groups and you have like community events, when you participate in that, it gives you a good feeling because it gives you a sense of belongingness. And again, positive emotions, hope, optimism, coherence, less stress, less anxiety. If you notice that positive thing is in every slide. I didn't make it up. I got it from research. Okay? So the positive well-beingness will contribute to your subjective well-being. Happiness, happiness, happiness. How many of you are happy people here? Okay, good, 50% are happy people here. I'm assuming out of 50 people, 25 people are happy. I'm a happy person. So, yeah, happiness is how you perceive yourselves. Not that people who are unhappy here don't have much on the plate. They have everything on the plate. They refuse to see that. Sorry to show my hand here because I didn't see many hands. Yeah. So happiness is what you see yourselves. People sometimes, we need mentors to point it out. Hey, you can do such a good job. Until then, you don't realize how good you are. Right? So happy people see the happiness around them. Happy people, when they go places, they take happiness with them. It's very easy to see happiness if you want to see it. So it's your state of mind. If you cultivate that, you will have less stress in life, less anxiety, and you'll live longer. You'll live long, healthy lives. So if you're happy, you would see that they are more cooperative, rate job applicants more favorably. You want your supervisor to be a happy person. You want him to rate you good. And the healthier and live healthier, energized, and more satisfied lives. So subjective well-being is all about how you perceive yourselves, whether you perceive yourself to be happy, satisfied, and this is everywhere. You put on CNN, it's there. Every few months, Dr. Sanjay Gupta will come and talk about positive living, happiness, right? So, my take-home message for you, dear friends, is live happy, stress less, and communicate. Communicate clearly. And communication, remember, communication is just not speaking, but also listening. Pay attention to people around you. Your Facebook update can wait. And seriously, who has 500 friends? Tell me. Yeah, seriously, they're all your friends? Yeah. Yes. You have friends, okay. Yeah. So, that's my take-home message, okay? I would like to thank you for coming. I had a great time speaking to you. I hope you had as much as enjoyment as I had. Okay, and I have my contact information here. If you have time, visit my website. Yeah, I have my Facebook page. Yeah, of course, I'm going to go out of the room and then update it. I have my website. Okay, it's positive-living.us. My friend here is my marketing strategist. Pooja Deshmukh. She developed my web page there for me. So I would appreciate any questions, questionnaire, fun talking. If you want, we can stop taping so that you're not recording. Okay, so people on WebEx, you can also ask me questions. I think you have to press #5 to make yourselves
Now
audible.
departing.
Okay, any questions?